if anyone's listening and they're in a rut, I'm going to speak direct to camera.
Yeah, go for it.
If anyone's listening and they're in a rut, just don't ever give up. We're in an age as well where people, I think, that they take the easiest way out these days. I've lost so many friends in the last few months. I don't know, there must be something in the air. And they're losing faith in themselves, losing faith in the people around them. I'm like, don't give up. You've come this far. Why give up? Now you've only got a little bit more to go till you get to where you want to be. I'm like, just keep going. Just one step at a time. It only takes one step at a time. Sometimes it's not a direct road. Sometimes you got to just jump across a little and stepping stone here to get a stepping stone there to get you back to where you need to go. But I'm like, just keep going. Never give up on yourself, because if you give up on yourself, how are other people going to want to invest in you? So I'm like, just keep going, because you're closer than you think. And if you're gone, a lot of people are going to miss you.
And welcome to Trade Roots. Today I'm joined by musical entrepreneur and Northeast musical scene stalwart, Wayne C. Mcdonald. Thanks for joining us, Wayne.
Wow, what an introduction. Thank you.
Well, it's all right. Just in case anyone doesn't know who you are, which I find hard to believe, if you could just...
loads of people won't
Yeah,
know
well, if you could just give a really brief synopsis of kind of what you've done and your career within the industry.
I'll try and give you like the one sentence answer.
Brilliant.
I'm a DJ, producer, songwriter, daddy. Gosh, I got so many different hats. I don't even know where to start. Radio
That's why
DJ,
I
club DJ, promoter. No, sometimes producer. I've already said that. See?
Yeah. No, that's cool. That's
music man.
That's probably the best way of saying
music man.
Thank you very much for that. So what was that initial spark, that inspiration that made you want to follow a career in music?
From when I was little, to be honest, it was like I've always kind of, even when I was like little, like 7, 8, 9, 10, my dad, rest his soul, he used to be like, right, come on. He must have known that I was into music. So he'd be like, right, he had this prize kind of like a stack system.
Fantastic.
EQ, no one was allowed to touch it. And then he said, Wayne, do you want to play some music in there? I was like, yeah. So, I used to rob them records as well when I came to Newcastle. But it was just, it was just from an early age. I think my uncle as well, he was he was in a group. Yeah. And he used to let me and some of our other cousins come on a practice and that kind of thing, just to watch, not to do anything. But I was like, you know what, I love this. I love doing the whole music thing. And then as we got a bit older, me and my twin, we would start like doing rapping and stuff. And then we got into doing I think first of all we started doing rap battles, as you do when you're that age, when you're kind of at school and stuff. And then because basically I couldn't do hip hop dancing, I was absolutely rubbish at that. So I thought, well, what can I do? So it was like a bit of rapping, and then we started doing the rapping thing, and then from when we were doing the rapping thing, I was still based in Preston doing all this time, and then it was like, wow, I love this. We used to record on it was called a Tascam. I think it's called Tascam 244, like a 4-track cassette recorder thing. Yeah. And that's what we released our first EP on. And it was like I say, so back then it was just, we were just twiddling knobs on this little thing, not knowing what it was, just twiddling it till it sounded right. And then it was like, you know what, I want to learn how to do this properly. So that's when I decided to do a music course. And that's where you came to Newcastle College? Came to Newcastle, and did music technology course. Was there any particular reason why you chose Newcastle to do that? Was it? To be honest, there was either Newcastle or London. Right. And my family's a bit like the mafia, in the sense of if you move, somebody knows you've moved somewhere, or if you're doing anything, I saw your son's down the road getting up to no good, and So I spoke to my uncle, and he was like, "Nah, go somewhere where nobody knows you." Had family in London already. Yeah. I'm from Preston, Lancashire. Had family in London. I was like, I ain't going down there because I don't want the world to know when I'm getting up to no good. So came to Newcastle, and because I didn't know anyone up here, and I thought, yeah, okay, I'm going to just try and do it. So left home at the bright age of 18, and and that the rest is history.
No, fantastic. So when you were doing your course, did that when you start sort of integrating into the club scene, or was it a little bit after then? Or
it was while I was doing the course. Yeah, I used to read. There used to be a magazine called Blues and Soul magazine. That I later had the privilege of writing for as well. But back then I just used to just read it. It was all about like just soul music and a little bit of early emerging hip hop and that kind of thing as well, a bit of house music. And I used to read about certain clubs. There was a bit of a review section where they would talk about what was happening in the club scene in the different areas. And I would read about certain clubs like Walker's and Dardy and these legendary clubs and I'd be like, right, I'm going to make sure I can check out them when I'm in Newcastle. And I was blessed enough to not only end up going to them, but to start working in them as well. And the DJs that I was reading about, like, I don't know, like Alex Lowe's and Rob Bogey and Bill Swift, ended up working with them. Which was like, I was like, whoa, these are like my heroes.
How did that happen then? Because obviously it wasn't just
that was how did I start DJing? How did I get into the DJing thing up here? I used to go to this club Walker's, right, downstairs, and I used to just dance, just go and just dance, because I didn't know anyone. I'd just stand in a corner, and then one of the DJs, Rob, he'd be like, oh, I used to go, what's this tune? What's that tune? This isn't the days before Shazam. So you used to have to ask a DJ, well, what's that tune he's playing? And back then it was a lot of like soul stuff, not the R&B stuff of today, but like some of the old soul stuff. And I was thinking, oh wow, I could sample that and do a hip hop thing. So I was listening more with hip hop ears. And then after a while it was like, oh, what do you do? Our music technology course at Newcastle. And then he kind of took me under his wing. And then really he was like my, he kind of got me started DJing up here.
Oh, fantastic.
He certainly got me under his wing. And yeah, he kind of helped me out a lot way back then. Then I started doing things like World Headquarters. I remember one time I only ended up doing it because some DJ didn't turn up, and I used to live this is when World Headquarters was based near
the old World,
near what's now
station.
Gallagate bus station now, and some DJ didn't turn up for some night. I think it was a STS radio night, like a bit of a pirate radio thing that was going on at the time, and so someone didn't turn up. So like, it's all right, I just live down the road, I'll get my records. So went, got my records, and I tell you, it was just, thankfully, I think I did all right. It was like a student night at the time, and everyone was dancing. I was playing all these latest imports that I'd kind of either like bought or robbed from like either HMV or that was back in the days of Hitsville Records as well. So I was playing all these tunes, and everyone was dancing. I was like, oh wow, I can do this stuff type thing. And then while I was there, some of the guys I was working with was like, oh, hey, you're doing all right. Do you fancy doing some pirate radio thing that we're about to start?
Okay.
I was like, hell yeah. So did a bit of pirate radio. I've done loads of stuff before I went professional.
So when you were doing the pirate radio station, did that then lead into doing the Weir FM thing, or was that?
Weir FM came because that was when I was doing the Drop nightclub. The Mayfair. The Mayfair downstairs at the Mayfair. They used to say we had the biggest chill out area in the sense of because we shared the night with like the Rock.
There was the Rock on the Friday, and there was also as well. And then you had the Gearbox as well. So it's kind of an indie kind of thing as well, wasn't it? We was in that little box room at the side. Yeah, and it was just like, and it was the only place at the time that was playing dub, reggae, hip hop. I think in the early days we didn't really do house. That came in later on. But yeah, that was with the who else was there? The Brody brothers. I think did Tom? No, I don't think Tom did it there back then. Tom Corker. There was a few kind of like NC kind of Richie and a few people that was involved in the scene back then, and for some reason I ended up playing in there, and then it was all of them DJs that were then approached to be involved with Weir FM, which at the time was like a new station opening up in Sunderland. And then that zone was called Boogie Bass and Soulfish. It was the first time the Northeast had ever had a radio station that was just playing like
at the time it was groundbreaking music. I think there was DJs that was playing rave there, playing drum and bass there. There was DJs playing all sorts of kind of. I thought, sorry, I do apologise.
That's all right.
I thought I'd put this phone to silent, so I'm just going to turn that off and put that to there. There you go. I do apologise. I'm sorry. People say I'm glued to my phone, and it's true.
We can see that. It's definitely true. Yeah.
So I do apologise there. But yeah, and so Weir FM at the time, and there was all sorts of zones through the week. Monday to Friday. It was like Monday to Saturday, specialist music on boogie bass and soulfish.
Wow.
And like so, DJ Huey and MC Lee, SLP, B Jam on a Friday, drum and bass, Howie, who was like more like house and rave and stuff like that. And oh man, they were the glory days. That was in the early days of just when the whole black music scene was really erupting in Newcastle. And there was no other radio station like that at the time. The music was playing. It was like kind of, record shops, like volume records at the time. So like I think they said 150% increase in the dance music sales and that kind of thing, just by the nature of the shows we was playing. And the people would be taping the radio shows and playing it in the record shop, and they'd have to guess have you got this song? Have you got this song? No, and this next one as well. Oh, they were good days. I'm proud to have been a part of that scene back then. But I mean, from that same station, I mean, it's like Steve and Karen. Everyone's heard of Steve and Karen. That's where they came from. But not in the same zone, but the same station. We're FM and stuff.
Absolutely.
So, and it's good that we made a lot of friends along the way.
No, good.
I think that there's been a lot of kind of a lot of friends made along the way. I've got so many stories to tell. I don't even know where to start. It's like, and then even like say from Weir FM. What happened after Weir FM? Weir FM. What was the next radio station after Weir FM? I did some. No, Weir FM. I went to Metro after Weir FM.
Okay. Yeah.
I met the legend that is Alan Robson.
Yeah.
Hi, Alan. I'm a first-time caller.
So is that what you were just ringing in when you?
No, I didn't dare ring in. Honestly, I used to listen to Alan.
Yeah.
Like when I couldn't sleep and I had all these kind of like when I first came to Newcastle, but then to be working with him and everyone's like, oh, he's an old dinosaur and whatever. But honestly, the guy's so switched on.
Yeah.
And he taught me a lot about like just little tips on how to present a bit more better and to stop talking in the middle of records. And because I still had a pirate mentality.
Yeah.
So, you're talking in the middle of the record. And and then because you want to hear your voice more. And he's like, no. Let the music speak.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. So then it's like, and then listening to him a bit more, and I'm like, oh sugar, I'm gonna let the music speak more. And I started letting the music speak, and now that's what I do most of the time is just let the music speak.
Oh, fantastic!
It's Uncle Alan. I affectionately called him Uncle Alan. And we're like, Wayne, don't call me Uncle Alan on air because people are going to think that we are related. I was like, no, they won't know we're related because we're not like we're different, totally different peoples.
Yeah.
But I still in my head I call him Uncle Alan because he is like your little uncle.
Right. Okay.
That you think I want him to come to my party or whatever. Really top bloke. So if Alan Robson's listening, Alan, cheers, bro. That's the good thing about that.
So your presenting skills really came from that sort of mentoring that he gave you to a certain extent, alongside your own personality. That is. It
was I'd definitely say that he definitely helped.
Yeah.
He just little tips and that, and I was like, okay, cool. And then left there, contract finished there, and I went to Galaxy after that.
Yeah.
Started off Galaxy local.
Yep.
And then the show was. I was blessed enough and the show was doing really well, so I went Galaxy National.
Fantastic.
On the national network, and which led me to DJ all over the world and do all these kind of. This is in the days before Facebook, so people don't really know about these things. Like we had a residency in Ibiza at what's the big club called? Roger Sanchez was in the big room. What was the club called? Pasha.
Yeah.
Pacha. But this is the days before Facebook, so no one knows that we was there every Monday or whatever, and just they were good days. We used to do like a before we did that, we would go out onto. Oh man, it's been so long since I've been over there. What's the strip called? Where the bars are, and we do like a sunset set.
Right, okay, yeah.
Cafe Mambo. 1, 2, 3. There's 3 bars. Mambo. Oh man, what were they called? Oh man, see, this is what happens when you get older. You lose your memory a little.
I was thinking it's more the point that you might have obviously had a bit of hedonism going on, so you can't remember the strip.
To be honest, I was never kind of. I've dabbled in everything, but I've never kind of let anything take over.
No, fair enough.
And oh man, I wish I could remember what the clubs were called, what the bars were called, because we used to do the sunset set first, so you're playing music to match the sunset, and then we would go and do Pasha.
Yeah.
So it was in San Antonio, the 3 bars, Mambo, Cafe Del Mar, and ours was we did what was the third one, and I'll never forget the first time I did it. I was rubbish. Like, because the woman had said, "Oh, play this and play that. Just play a bit of soul." And she didn't really know she was a marketing person. Yeah, she wasn't a music person. So I packed the wrong junk, and it was like, I remember like the first time I did the sunset set, and it was just, and in the end, the bar manager was like, "I'm just gonna come on for a little." I was like, proper fail type thing. Yeah,
deflated.
But the next time I went, I knew what to bring. Yeah. And it just so happened that Masters at Work was there. Yeah. Just having their food there. And to get a standing ovation from Masters at Work.
No, definitely,
as the guys playing his little sax as well on the top of what I'm doing. And it was amazing. It was just, shing. That's the second time that I've played for Masters at Work as well. That was, the one time was at the arena in Middlesbrough. Yeah. But it was just amazing. It was just like, validation. That I was like, yeah, I wish she'd have said this the first time. But now, and then every time I went back, it was like I knew what to do for the sunset set. Just chilled out music, just nice, and just because people want to catch a vibe for the sunset.
Yep, no, absolutely.
And then in the club, oh man, at Pasha, we had the second room at Pasha. And again, the first time I went was all right. Yep. But I didn't expect there to be so many foreigners there. This is the backward mentality that I had. And they're saying, oh, blah, 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 speaking in a foreign language. And me being a bit backward, I was like, well, what? Oh, come work for us. I was like, well, yeah, cool. Didn't have no business cards, didn't have nothing. Yeah, give me we come back. And they didn't come back. Yeah. So I lost out potential work and stuff, but it was great experience. And then, like I say, every time I went back next time, I made sure I was prepared, and just made again a lot of contacts, a lot of friends along the way.
So from that sort of help you to get into the music production side and start working with other artists. And
to be honest, the production I was doing before I came to Newcastle.
Yeah, sorry, all I wanted was it was able to sort of
to go up a bit. Yeah. Well, back in the day, we used to do. I used to work for Sony Records. Yeah. When I was at college, we had like a.
How did that come about?
Because I was doing the radio stuff. Yeah. It was kind of pioneering radio, so I was like classed as one of the like a local pioneering DJ. Yeah. They had like specialist DJs in each of the area. They called it like if you can imagine, a regional street team. Yes. So each area could get like each area they picked a specialist in each area, and then they would send us like product to get out to other specialist DJs. Yep. And I was the one for the Northeast. And then they started saying, well, we need remixes and blah, blah, blah. So the first one I did was for Will Smith, that came out. And it was just like, okay, that did all right. Yeah, did all right. It was something from the Men in Black soundtrack, one of them ones.
Was that under your own Wayne C, or was that?
No, that was under, what did we call ourselves then? That was with a guy called Brian. Yeah. Brian Robson, who was more like a house producer. Right, yep. And I'd met Brian actually back in the days of, I used to manage a recording studio. When I was at college. Yep. I used to hang around in a recording studio all the time and just make myself known, a cup of tea and just to get to know.
Just fully absorbing the experience.
Yeah. Because I loved being around the creative aspect of making music, and Brian was doing more house stuff, and so when I'm doing all this street team, they called it, for Columbia. I said, Brian, I've got a chance to do a remix for Will Smith. Are you up for it? So, yeah, why not, you know?
Yeah.
Because his management kept saying, you should work with Wayne.
Right, okay.
Or was it his management? No, that was later. That was something.
Right, okay.
No, I'm getting, yeah. So forget about the management bit for now. Yeah. So yeah, we would do the. I think we did a Schoolie D remix, and we did a Will Smith remix.
Yep.
Which was all right. Got a few quid, not much back then, but it was a good starter. And then he left the studio that I was kind of helping, not manage, but I was taking in the bookings and all of that kind of stuff. Because I used to go in after college and on weekends and that kind of thing. Then when I finished college, I started going in there a bit more, just cleaning the dishes, washing the dishes, cleaning the floors, and da-di-da-di-da.
Starting from the bottom, really. And
yeah. But it was all valuable experience.
No, definitely.
All valuable experience. And then that was when Lighthouse Family as well had a room in there.
So which recording studios was that?
It was called Sam's, Uncle Sam's.
Yep.
On
by the Rabbit.
What's the Rabbit?
The
only
Weir
rabbits
Rabbit.
I know are a bit rude.
The Weir Rabbit.
Where's the Weir Rabbit?
Sort of by the cathedral.
Yeah. Is there a rabbit there?
There's a Weir Rabbit. It's quite a famous Newcastle landmark.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Sugar Ray Leonard. Honestly,
wow.
I never ever see. When I think about St Nicholas's Cathedral, I just think of Sam's and Tup Tup.
Yeah.
Well, what used to be the Masters Bar. That's all. I didn't know there was a rabbit there.
There's a statue of a Weir Rabbit. So a rabbit with really big fangs above one of the doorways.
Is there?
Yeah, and it's quite an infamous piece of statue. Yeah,
I'm going to check that out later. Honestly, I never in a million. No one's ever told me about that before.
Wow,
that's the thing about Newcastle, though. There's so much history as well.
Yeah.
There used to be a guy called Peter Dodds at Sam's studio.
Yes. And
he'd be like, "Oh, Wayne, I could tell you some stories about Newcastle town and da-da-da-da-da." And that was in the days of Jimmy Nail and stuff when they used to come down the studio and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, yeah.
So Lighthouse Family, sorry, I diverged.
Now, I first met Lighthouse because when I was working at Walker's that I mentioned before.
Yes.
Paul, there's two of them in Lighthouse. There's a white guy and a black guy.
Yep.
The white guy, Paul.
Yep.
He was a bartender at Walker's. And we got talking, I'm looking for a singer for a project I've got, and blah, 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 blah. So while I was at college, I'm doing demos and stuff, and I was working with a guy called, with Tunde.
Yeah.
Just because I'd heard him, I was DJing in some club in town, and he was just singing along. I'm like, so we ended up doing a couple of recordings together at college. And then I said, I know this singer. Yeah, Tunde, you should meet Tunde. So they met in the lift on my way up. That was when I lived in the middle of the Newcastle city centre.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
And they met in the lift on the way up to my penthouse suite, as they used to call it.
Your flat.
My flat, yeah. But because it was on the top floor and it was on the corner, it was like, I'm pleased that them walls can't talk because they got some stories to tell as well.
I can imagine.
And when... they met, and at first Tunde was like, I don't like the songs, because by then Paul had already done a draft of Ocean Drive, I think it was.
Okay,
then.
yeah.
So I don't really like the songs. I was like, but just do it.
Yeah.
Because what else are you going to do? You know, it's just a thing. Just do it. Right, okay, why not then? And the rest is history. They met. So I was pleased about that. I've got my little plaque on the wall of, I think back then, it was 1.8 million at the time. Which you don't get records selling like that anymore. That was off the first album. But it's sold a lot more than that since I got that plaque. So I'm pleased to have played a little bit.
So did you do the full production on that?
I didn't do any. I just introduced them.
Right,
because he had the songs and then he needed a singer. So I was like, you need to work with this guy, but just fixed it, made it happen.
No, excellent.
And that was all that happened. I didn't, songwriting, creative, I had nothing at all to do with
facilitate that meeting.
I just facilitated it because I was like, he said he needed a soulful voice.
Yeah.
Tunde, do it. And that's what happened. And it was just perfect. And then they went on and did mega successful. It was good. It was good.
I think from that, though, that ties neatly into sort of the work that you did, or starting off with Generator, because obviously that music development side and introducing people and all those things. So how did that Generator idea come about, or how did you get involved?
Well, when I was managing the recording studio, Sam's studio, we always used to get the newsletters. Generator used to produce like a monthly newsletter, which was just basically about gigs that are up and coming or people looking for bands. Back then it was like a minefield of information for anyone that was starting to get into the industry. And I was like, right, okay, it's something like we're having a meeting or something like that. If you want to turn up, just turn up. But what I liked about Generator is they were trying to enable people. They were doing things to try and get people on the ladder. On the ladder of not success, but on the ladder of
it's kind of making a living from music.
Just to get them self-sufficient, get them on their own 2 feet. And I was like, so I went to a couple of meetings, and then when I say a couple of meetings, it was literally 5 of us around a table at the old Riverside, which is now actually Riverside's not even a venue anymore.
No, I think it's offices. I think.
Wow. But yeah, it used to be one of the main venues, one of the main venues in the northeast region, and so there'd be 5 of us just sitting around a table, meeting, and talking about, well, let's plan an event for Newcastle University then. Let's plan an event for such and such. Let's plan an event for this, and it was always like funding led, so we would have to try and chase funding to secure an event, and then we'd be able to promote an event, and then we'd invite up record labels, A&R and talent scouts and all that kind of thing, and that was all we was doing back then. And then fast forward a couple of years, and the events that we start doing are starting to get a little bit more kind of coverage, a little bit more support from the industry and that kind of thing. And then we ended up being approached we lobbied to do Radio 1,
the Sound City
1998. And then that's when a guy called Jim Maudsley came involved as well. Jim Maudsley, at the time, he was ENTS officer at Newcastle University.
Oh, he's not Northumbria.
Oh gosh, you could be right.
I think it was Northumbria.
Yeah. Sorry, Jim. You're right. Yeah. So that's the poly then.
Yeah, that's the old poly.
The old poly.
Yeah.
What did I say? The uni. The old poly. Yeah. So he was the ENTS officer there, and but he was good at promotions, obviously, doing the shindig stuff as well on the side and everything like that he was promoting. And then he got involved, and then that was how Generator as we know it kind of transformed. I think after that, we were always seen for a while. We were seen as like the fourth emergency service for bands and musicians. Because when bands didn't have anywhere to go, they'd be like, I've got a demo, but I don't know what to do with it. I've got this and I don't know what to do with it. I need management, but I don't know where to find it. Or how do I get my stuff to a record label? How am I going to get it on the radio? And we'd be like, oh, come to us, we'll have a chat with you and we'll give you our contacts and that kind of thing. And over time, it kind of grew, developed, and we started putting on events like the Orange Evolution Festival and them kind of things like that. And it kind of grew. And I think with any organisation, it kind of grows and it keeps growing, and then after a while, it kind of.
Is it danger of it like leveling off or kind of starting to reduce in size?
It morphed.
Yeah,
it changed. It changed its kind of aims and objectives almost. And I think the bigger we was getting, the more intimidated people were feeling about Generator, which was never a good thing.
No.
I'm like, you always got to feed the grassroots. If you want a tree to grow big, you got to keep feeding the roots. And I think one of the mistakes that we made as Generator is the bigger and better the events, the more people started thinking, oh, but Generator's too big. Why should I go there?
You're losing that grassroots engagement.
Exactly. And then after a while, you end up having to chase the funding.
Yeah,
especially say like when little things like when the government changes,
or
the people in charge of the civic centre change or whatever, then the funding starts to change around it as well. So Generator became almost, I can't say a victim of its own success because it's still doing very, very well and doing very big things.
Where's Jim's taken it and transformed it to?
It's on a whole different level.
Yeah, it's completely different.
But it's not doing the grassroots stuff like it used to.
So is that kind of why you sort of decided that you kind of fulfilled a remit there?
I'd gone as far as I could. Yeah. It's like that thing of, I like to be able to help people out. Anything I do, I like to be able to just to either instill advice, help information, just to give people that what they need so they can get on and do it themselves. Generate was great for that.
Yeah.
But then it reached a point where, you know, some of the people that were getting involved was more like we had to be of a certain level.
Yeah.
And it wasn't so much about absolute beginners anymore.
Yep.
And then after a while, it was moving into more like digital areas and them kind of things. Yeah. And some of the bands that were reaching out weren't really up to that stage yet. Yeah. And then, I don't know, after a while, it was just paths was kind of starting to widen and go in different directions. And then after, you know, like, and I keep saying about this chasing the funding.
Yeah.
So you go where the funding is. So you would have to change your identity a little to fit into the new batch of funding. Yeah. And then, and there were so many different pots that were going away from just the music makers. Yeah. And much as I tried to hang on to that and hang on, and after a while it was like, I can't compete with what's going on.
No, fair enough.
And people's needs had changed and all that as well. And I was like, you know, I gave it a good run. I was there for like 20 odd years, I think, in total. Something like that.
Yeah.
I think I was the longest serving member of Generator. But all good things come to an end. But Generator's still doing well, so I'm trying not to slag it off.
Oh no, and I think as well as you say, it's kind of like where it is now. It's a completely different agency, and what they're doing is still really valuable resource.
It's still
to the
really
city.
relevant. Yes, yeah.
You know, and I know what you're saying is, but it's changed its remit entirely from when you first started doing your stuff with them. Yeah,
and it wasn't doing that kind of thing anymore. And
that's
so it was time for me to go.
That's what your passion. That's what you're excited, and it wasn't happening for you anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
So, but yeah, they've got a lot of bands that we've helped out along the way. A lot of say. I like on my obituary or whatever, when I'm dead and gone, I'm hoping that there's going to be quite a few people that will be like, oh, if it wasn't for Wayne, I wouldn't have done this and da. Because there's a lot of people that the world has heard of now.
Is there anybody in particular that you're sort of...
I'm not going to name names.
You're not going to name names?
I'm not a name dropper.
No, fair enough.
Don't drop names, because I think from the studio days when I was doing the recording studio stuff, we would work with X artist or Y artist, and all they would want to do is, last night I was in VIP with blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh man, give it a rest. Yeah. So I went the other way and I just went totally silent. Yeah. And I wouldn't say, and it would be like trying to drag water out of a stone, trying to get information about me, from me about who I work with or whatever. And my manager at the time was like, no, you need to talk more. You need to tell people more. I was like, nah, the proof is...
So I'm finding it hard to believe that you didn't talk more, Wayne. Just
No, but when you're with some of these people, they talk. They can talk for days. Well, they can talk about themselves for days and just talk. A fair point, and they just... So I'm like, I'll just listen.
No, fair enough.
Well, because there's no point in me saying, oh yeah, and I did this and I did, because they only came to the studio because of the work that we've done.
Yeah, no,
so
absolutely.
I didn't need to sell myself, whereas they felt like, oh, I need to do this, and I'm like, and after a while it gets boring, and I thought I don't want people to be bored.
Yeah,
from me.
No, fair enough.
So that's why I kind of like, a lot of times I don't. There used to be a time when I'd be like, right, just read my profile or Google me and all them kind of things. But now I'm just kind of like, I just do what I do kind of thing.
No, excellent.
Excellent. So this is the first time in a long time that I've talked so much about me, because I don't normally do it.
Oh, yeah, we're feeling privileged, man. No, it's good. It's good stuff. So at the moment, what we're getting is like, so since when you came up to Newcastle, we've actually touched on a load of positive experiences and how that's developed when you've sort of gone to Ibiza from what you've done within the region. There must be some negative experiences that...
Oh yeah. Like when I first came up here, it was horrible. Yeah. I hated it. I used to go back to Preston every weekend.
Wow.
And then obviously when my grant check had finished, I was like, oh, freak. What am I going to do now?
Yeah. Why was that? Was that just kind of you didn't gel with the city, or did you feel a little bit homesick, or a bit of both? Or
didn't like it. Didn't like it at all. Didn't like the people. Didn't like the accent. How am I? I was like, what? What did you say? Who? Speak slower, man. Speak slower. How am man? You know, gan canny lake. Gan where? What's to who? I didn't get it. I was honestly, it was like, what the heck?
So what changed then? How did it come about that you?
It was just. This is back in the days of like the I can't say football hooligans, but the calling cards of the firms.
Yeah.
And I used to hate match days. I used to live in Benwell.
Yep.
And Benwell, when I first moved into Benwell, I didn't know anything about the area. And then people are like, oh, where do you live? I live in Benwell. Oh, that's a bit rough. I'm like, no, it's not. It's all right. And then I used to speak to a guy called Sid at a little corner shop halfway down Delaware Road. And he'd be introducing me to the left, right, and centre. Didn't know that all these people are criminals or whatever.
Yeah.
But didn't care because I was just, my mum and dad taught me, you know, if someone's courteous to you, you're courteous back.
Yeah.
So I'd be speaking to these people. All right, mate, how you doing? Yeah, all right, Wayne. And then come to find out of all the houses on Delaware Road, ours was the only one that didn't get broken into. Because I spoke to people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's just it takes nothing to have a nice word to say to someone every once in a while. That's nothing. And then come the football times.
Yep.
Oh man, this is what I used to be scared of football days because just I hated being kicked at, spat at, punched. Oh, go on, you're black this and that was from Newcastle a lot.
Yeah.
So it got to the point where I would only go out on like after kickoff.
Yeah.
And make sure I did all my shopping to be back home before full time.
Yeah.
It was awful. I hated it. And Sunderland was even worse. That was Newcastle.
Yeah.
Sunderland was even worse because they had like the National Front headquarters. Well, even they had a National Front thing in Benwell as well. And I was like, oh God, I could see, and you could see them. I was like, I hated it. And it was just, I could see the thing there just down, not far from where I lived. And I was like, oh God, there's a meeting on. I ain't going anywhere today.
Enough.
And then Sunderland, the NF used to meet in the, you come out the train station.
Yep.
You'd go left. This was on my way to Sun FM. And there'd be the square.
Yep.
So you got all the shops around or whatever.
Yeah.
It was like the square, and that's where they would be on a Saturday afternoon. I think it might be once a month or maybe once every couple of months. Intimidating. They never, at the time, physically attacked me, the NF lot. But they'd be like, here's read this, mate. Yeah. I think it was called The National. I think their paper was called. Read this, mate. Oh, you could do with this. Ha 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 ha. Go on. Yeah. And
so there wasn't that much of a verbal either. It was just kind of a more
intimidation.
Yeah.
I hated it. Because there was no one to back me up. Other people would see it and they'd just be like nervous laughter, but no one was there. I remember the time in I'll never forget this time in Sunderland on a night out, and we was in some kebab shop, and these people just started banging on nigga, batting the windows like that. Woof, woof. I was like, shit, the window, and people in the things are just laughing. Yeah. Some of it was probably nervous laughter, like I say, not knowing what to do, embarrassed and that. And it was only because the guy that owned the thing, or one of the workers with the knives that they cut the dollars with, he ran out with the big knives like that. And I remember the knives like that wobbling. Like, wow. And I was crying. It was horrible.
No, I can imagine that. Well, I can't imagine it. Actually, no, I can't. But
what really annoyed me the most is because I was like, yeah, but I'm one of you, because I saw myself as an adopted. Well, they used to say you're an adopted Geordie Wayne, kind of thing. Because I was getting so embroiled in the local scenes. Yes, I was doing so much to help people, empower people, and all that. Doing the local radio stations. I wasn't getting paid for Sun FM, and that. I wasn't making no money. I was doing it for the love of the game. Yeah, and it was just I don't know. I just felt let down. Hated it.
Going back to when you first came up, was it kind of that racist element that kind of made you not really initially gel with the city or the area?
I think two things. I think partly because I had a chip on my shoulder. Yeah, that's how I was made to feel. Because when I tell people, "Oh, this has just happened," people will be like, "Oh man, you what are you doing, man? You're just making too much of a big fuss over nothing." I was like, "No, but it just happened," and they'd be like, "Yeah, but come on, get over it." Oh, but obviously they wasn't experiencing it like I was experiencing it. They didn't see it when, people are like, they just think the person's just spitting, but they didn't see the look of fucking, excuse the French, the look of disgust that was in that person's eyes and the spitting at me. They just think, oh, just the person spitting. What's up with you, Wayne? Get over it, man. You got a chip on your shoulder. So I thought, I've got a chip on my shoulder. Because back then, they weren't subtle with it. It was overt.
Right, okay.
There was no kind of there was no hiding. If they didn't like you, you just knew. Yeah. It was just there. You can't, and unless you've lived it, you can't. There's no other way to describe it. And so, like I say, a lot, because most of the people I knew up here wasn't of colour, weren't people of colour. So and they were like, "Wayne, man, just what's up with you? What do you mean you're not coming out? Why not?" They couldn't understand it. Yeah. And much they were trying to explain, they just didn't see it like that because they never experienced it like that. And then after a while, it was only when I take it back to the football, to pre-Andy Cole and post-Andy Cole.
Okay, so what difference do you think that made then
when Andy Cole was scoring the goals, then every black person was Andy Cole.
Right, okay.
Because before then, the climate of the city, the temperature was cold towards people of colour. It was hard. It was, like I say, it was very overt. It was just, everything was there. But then when Andy Cole, then you'd get groups, instead of groups dancing around, you say, nigga, nigga, oi, oi. You get groups standing around and saying, Andy Cole, Andy Cole, Andy Cole. He gets the ball and he scores the goal. Andy Cole. And every black person was that. Yeah. I remember Tunde from Lighthouse Family. That happened to him a lot.
Wow.
Because he had a shaved head like Andy Cole. But it was just, like I say, the climate, the temperature just changed. And I didn't feel bad anymore going into town on match days. There wasn't you didn't get cards given to you and that kind of thing. And mate, take that. Fucking Sheffield, da-di-da, or whatever.
Whatever.
You never got any of that kind of thing. It just changed. And I remember it was difficult, even when I first started DJing, just the stuff that I'd been through. I was like, I want to make sure that black people never feel like how I had to feel when I first came up here. Even though there were black people living up here before me.
Yep.
I'm like, oh, they must have it even worse than me. Bear in mind, I was made to feel that I was kind of had a chip on my shoulder. Yeah. So I thought, I'm just being a bit too hard on myself. But I was still like, I'm never going to let anyone come to Newcastle, this place, because I loved it. Yeah. I loved it. Even regardless of that, I was like, I'm not going to let anyone come to Newcastle and have to go through that. So one of the main reasons one of the main driving focuses that I had, I wanted to make sure that people that when black people come to Newcastle or people of colour, there's a place for them to feel safe at. That was that was my passion. I was like, right, I'm going to make sure that anyone of colour, they're going to feel safe in my nights. Wherever I'm playing, they're going to feel safe. And it just so happened that because of the music I was playing and the places I was playing at and the way that things started to happen in my musical career, that's what started to happen. I started getting a lot more people of colour, black people coming out to the nights. I think, like I say, these were the heady days of R&B and stuff. And it wasn't like it is now where you can get everything on your iPad in one night. You would go to certain clubs to hear certain styles of music. You'd go to like one of the nice nights or one of the shindig nights to hear house. You would go to Tommy's place to hear like a bit of an amalgamation of soul, funk and maybe Oasis or them kind of things. You'd go to the Drop to hear reggae, and you'd go to like Julie's and whatever to hear R&B. And that's why I think there's a golden era of music, and that's my golden era. That's the golden era. That's why all these throwback nights that are happening now, they're playing all the music from the golden era of R&B. And I'm like, I'm proud to say that I was part of that scene. Part of it, I'm part of that scene. It's I don't take it lightly when people say, "Oh, you're the Godfather," or "You're you're the original G," and all that stuff. Because I'm like, I was part of the original team.
No, you were definitely,
and it's like I say, the thing that got me through it, the thing that pushed me, is because I wanted to make sure that black people and people of colour felt safe when they was out on night times in Newcastle.
I think, I was picking up on that, because obviously from that point, obviously that improved through current times. In the last few years, do you think that's kind of took a step back, or? Well,
since Trump and all that stuff. What's going on stateside?
Brexit,
it's because what was overt had kind of gone subliminal. But now it's back to being overt. Not as overt as it was.
Yep.
But people are just they're letting their distaste known again now.
And have you had any sort of experiences of a nasty nature since then, or
it's like, oh, how can I phrase it? It's like you can maybe because I'm more seasoned to it.
Yeah.
But I just see it now for what it is. But I'm like, I don't get angry like I used to. I don't get that inner rage. I'm just like, because it's not my problem, it's theirs.
Yep.
Whereas back then I would be like, oh, I've done something wrong, it's my fault. And not my fault, but it's like, it's on me. But now I'm like, but I'm not the problem. They are.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then why should I they might have words to say, you know, that old phrase, sticks and stones. I'm like, yeah, sticks and stones may break my bones. Just don't fucking try and hit me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very much like that's their problem, not mine anymore.
Yeah, oh no, absolutely.
So I see it totally different. But I do fear for my children.
No, fair enough. Yeah,
and what they get. Luckily, though, they're living in an age where there is a lot more people of colour around them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they've got like friends of all shades, shades and colours and nationalities and all that stuff, which is great. Back then, there was only black, white, Asian, Chinese.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
That was Newcastle.
That was Newcastle.
Yeah.
You were either white, black, brown, and I don't want to say yellow, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They were the only shades you ever saw.
Yeah.
Now there's everything and in between as well.
Yeah.
I remember when I first went up to like Edinburgh.
Yep.
And I was like, whoa, it's like a rainbow. There's so many different colours and they're all in the same places together. Yeah. I never thought I'd see that in Newcastle. And now it's a lot tolerable. There's a lot more, you know, I think with the students coming in and everything like that, there's a lot more of a diverse community that we have here.
No, that's good to hear.
And I'm like, I still love it. I still love Newcastle. I still class myself as an adopted Geordie. Every area where you live has got their own faults. Every area where you live has got the socio-economic problems. Every area where you live has got, you know, there's going to be a degree of racism, a degree of hate, a degree of, you know, there's always going to be that no matter where you are. But because I've chose to make this my home for myself, my family, I'm like, well, I just got to not make do, but I'm not going to let it kind of bring me down anymore.
Yeah.
I've got too much other stuff bringing me down.
Fair enough.
So it's like I'm not gonna let my location be a part of any problem for me or my children.
No, that's good to hear, and it's good to hear that as well. There's a positive and a negative aspect to where the current climate is, you know, which is really good to hear.
It's just I think I'd be foolish to say racism's going to be gone one day, because it won't.
No.
And when you see, you know, recent videos on Facebook or whatever, who took the cake? It was a black man.
Yeah.
And little things like that doing the rounds, and you think, well, I don't think that particular mum taught that, but the kid knows that the bad person was a black person.
Yeah, exactly.
These things are taught at an early age.
Yeah.
And it's up to parents to steer your kids away from that.
Yeah.
Because if they're seeing it, this kid was made on this Facebook video that was doing the rounds. She was what, about 2, 3, 4, something like that. She's a toddler.
Yeah.
Not, you know, but to think it was a black man that did it.
Yeah.
To me, it's like, well, the things that she's watching or the things that she's being conditioned around her, whatever she's being brought up into, if that's not curbed, she's going to get even worse with it.
Yeah, exactly.
And just assume that the black people are the bad ones.
On that specific video, I'm not going on a little bit too much, but actually I think the mother's reaction was probably the worst reaction, because she just laughed at it and didn't do anything to try and correct it. I hope that happened afterwards, but
unfortunately, because the video cuts at the
yeah.
But that could have been. I don't want to slate her because I don't know what happened.
Absolutely.
And that could have just been that one of them, oh, sugar, I can't believe you just said that.
Yeah.
No. It could have been just that nervous laugh that you get of just like, oh, I can't believe you just said that type thing, because the video cuts that.
Yeah, it does.
So I'm like you. I do hope that she said, no, you can't say that and da da da. But unfortunately, that bit was cut from the video, so we don't know what happened. No. We don't know what happened beyond that, unfortunately. But there's a lot of things like that happen like now with kids of a little young age.
Right, okay.
So I'm like, it's not just down to parenting, but social conditioning as well. And I just want to make sure that parents of children, that the parents, kids generally look up to the parents. Yep. So if they see the parents acting a certain way, they generally follow it subconsciously. So I'm like, in terms of parenting, bring your kids up right, give them a good choice of music, give them a good, even if I'm not saying that they've got like soul and hip hop and R&B, just give them a good choice of music, give them a good, show them the world in its true ugliness.
Yeah.
But don't just let them hone in on one negative aspect or two negative aspects. I'm like I can't hide my kids from the racism. I don't want them to experience it, but I'm not going to be able to stop it happening. All I can do is say, look, this is probably going to happen at some point in your life. Best way to deal with it is this way.
Yeah.
But don't give what you get. Don't, that kind of thing. Just, to me, it's all about parenting. Even though, and I know some parents are like, yeah, but it's not though, because I can't control what my little Johnny does out on the street and da-da-da-da-da. So I get that, but when they're in the house, you school them when they're in the house.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then it's hope that when they're out of the house, then they're listening to a bit of what you're saying. And sometimes it can take time, but ultimately it'll do it. They'll land themselves on the right track.
Which I think brings us to a point that actually right now you're a full-time dad. How many are you looking after at the moment?
Well, I've got 2 that live with me full-time.
Yep.
And then I've got another. So my eldest is 19.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Autistic. My next one is 17.
Yep.
Them 2 live with me full time.
Okay, yes.
I've got one that's 11.
Yep.
Who I see every week. And my daughter is 2. What month are we in now? 2.5.
Excellent.
And I see her again every week as well.
Yeah.
But the eldest 2, like I say, my eldest one, the 19-year-old, and my youngest son, they're both autistic.
Right, okay, yeah.
Both on the spectrum. And that also has its own range of problems.
No, I can appreciate that.
I wouldn't have them any other way.
No, fair enough.
That's just the nature of how they are and who they are and whatever. But I would say don't vaccinate your kids. Well, that's a whole nother story for a whole nother time.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah.
I don't want to get into like my conspiracy theories and all of them things and the things that I'm kind of do on a night time when I can't sleep and I'm watching YouTube like that. Like, no way.
So on a music career front, what's the next? Anything in the pipeline? Are you more production, more?
To be honest, I don't know what I'm going to do about my production yet because I've kind of put it on pause while I've been looking after the kids and looking after me as well because I think certain things have taken the toll on my mental health state and everything. So I'm kind of just making sure that I'm in the best place before I can know exactly what I'm going to do next. I think that ultimately I'll get back into it at some point, I think. Yeah. But I like my acting as well. I'm starting to get into acting and stuff. I've done a few kind of like little ads and them kind of things on the telly and stuff. I'm trying to get, I'm just exploring what's out there, basically.
Yeah, more of a rounded kind of.
Yeah. I still mentor 7 people.
Brilliant.
So I still give them advice on how to take their careers forward, and not in a management phase, not in a management way, but just like, Wayne, what do you think it is to do? Who should I speak to? Give us your contacts. I still like to enable people.
Yeah.
I keep saying, right, one of the philosophies that I have is there's 2 kinds of people. There's givers and there's takers.
Yep.
I give. I like to give because I like people to walk away with something. If it's like walking away with the head held high, or walking away with the knowledge that they're a step closer to fulfilling the dream, or a step closer to getting the thing that they want, or a step closer to realizing their ambition, or a step closer to. I like to give strength. I like to empower people. I like to enable people. I want to do things that's just gonna. I hate it when people don't know what to do next. I hate it when people get stuck in a rut. And sometimes all it takes is just to speak. So, and then someone else to hear and say, well, what about trying this? Or what about looking at that a bit differently? Or what about trying this? You know what, Wayne, I never even thought of that.
So you're mentoring these people within a music scene, or is it a media scene? Or
5 are music, 2 are non-music, 2 are just... Yeah. It's not. I hate to say the phrase life coach, but I'm just coaching them, just helping them get. One's like media, one's like a writer. I don't know. I don't know how or why, but they keep coming back to me, just because I'm just
a fountain of knowledge, obviously, and an understanding human, and I want to help them.
I'm blessed with a nice personality. Yeah. That's all it is. I just like to help people, because I've been in that situation before where you're stuck and you don't know what to do. You're stuck in a rut and you can't get out. No matter what you're doing, the more you're clawing, the deeper you get in. And I've been in that situation in my music career. I've been in that situation in my personal life. Yep. I've been with my mental health problems. And sometimes it's just good to talk. Just someone that can just help you find a pathway just to navigate yourself back to a position where you can help yourself again. Yeah. It costs nothing to talk. It's like, you know, my phone's ringing all the time, and it's like, even in my pocket, it's like and that's why, you know, I get in trouble because people say you're glued to your phone, you're glued. But I'm not. I like to be at the other end of a phone. If someone's in trouble, I'm going to help them. It's like the guy that was just ringing just then at the start of the interview. Yes. He sent me a text just earlier on before we started the interview, and he sent his demo off to some record label, and they rejected it. Yeah. And he's like, that's it, I'm giving it up. I'm like, whoa. Look, I'm just in the middle of something right now. I'll call you later. So when I get in later on, I'm going to give him a call, shake his head a bit, and just be like, look, just one. It's just one knockback. But I think because he's had a series of knockbacks, he's just considering calling it a day. And I'm like, come on, mate. Like, no one in the world is going to get a yes every time. No, they're not. I'm like, it's a school of hard knocks. Yeah, I'm not even with my generator hat on. Still, I don't know why I still wear it. But no one can ever say, yeah, you do this, you're going to get famous. There's no work like path like that. And I hate them ones that are like, oh, you're going to be rich, and like X Factor and them kind of shows. Not a big fan of them kind of things. People get easily misled, and they think, yeah, if I do that, then I'm going to get rich and famous, and doing it all for the wrong reasons. I'm like, nah, I want to give people the strength to believe in themselves, because it all starts from inside. If you don't believe in yourself, who's going to believe in you? I like to be able to, I don't know, this thing, I just like to give people that hope. Yep. I'm gonna have a word. I'm gonna tell him off, because he shouldn't just think, oh, that record label doesn't like it. He's had rejections before. He's an American dude as well. Wow. So he's like, he's had rejections before. So I don't know why, just because it's this particular label, it's like, that ain't the end of the road. Do it yourself. You don't need a label. Do it yourself. Get it out there yourself. Just get you a bit hype for yourself, and just, you know, get use your own radio contacts, get it out, get it played a bit. Once you've got a bit of a profile and people playing you on from the likes of, I don't know, say, specialist radio station here, you might be able to cross over into maybe like a Capital Extra or that kind of thing, just from one of the DJs playing it, or, you know, give it to the guy that does the breakfast, whoever does the breakfast show on Radio 1. You just never know. Yeah, and all they can do is say no. But if you don't knock on the door, how is anyone ever going to open it? You gotta keep knocking on the doors, and too many people, I think they give up when they've knocked on a couple of doors, and then either the door doesn't open or, not today, son. Yeah. Oh, I'm giving up. Like, nah, mate. It's real life. No, it is real life. And it's almost a bit like, I equate it a bit to, right, I'm not playing anymore, I'm taking my ball back. Yeah. It's like, nah, man. As a kid, when you look at it, you think, oh, I shouldn't have done that. It's the same with a career. Like, you shouldn't have done that. Just keep going, because you never know how close you are. You're always going to get some no's, but you keep going till you get a yes. That's how it is. And I'm like, I'm going to have a word. I'm going to tell him off. I'm going to tell him. I think that's those highly inspirational words are probably a good place to end it. I think, unless you've got anything else that you want to say, Wayne, that we haven't covered. I think that's it. I don't know. I'm just keep going, man. Just keep going. Thanks, Wayne. That's brilliant. Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Cheers. Thank you.